Hello everyone, welcome to the first installment of Figuring Out Fatherhood. My name is Chris Top and I'm here with my boy Fola. Fola, tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
Hello, my name is Fola. I work for the London Underground. I have two daughters, aged 8 and 5, which is what we're here to talk about today. And yeah.
Yeah, as Fola mentioned, we're here to talk about Fola and his two daughters. The reason why I wanted Fola especially was because not many fathers have two kids at such a young age, so I thought it was important for us to communicate this and let people know what the experience is like, really.
Yeah.
So, let's get right into it. So you mentioned your two daughters. What are the names of them? Are you sharing that with us?
I have my elder daughter, which is Ella Rose, and my younger daughter, Sienna Ray.
So Ella is
8 and Sienna's 5.
Okay,
Yeah.
How old do you have your first daughter?
21. Yeah, it was a lot of stuff. 21 when I had Ella. I was 24 when I had Sienna.
You mentioned to me earlier on that having the second one was a bit more difficult than the first one. So talk us through this whole situation. So the first one, how did you feel? You're 21, you're quite young, so.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff. I think where I was in life as well impacted the way in which I handled the situation. So I was 21. At that time in my life, I was quite active in the church. So, yeah. When I say active in the church, I mean, I attended church regularly.
Yeah, it's fine. They do hear
and I think because of that, the way in which I dealt with the first pregnancy was impacted by the scenario that I was in. So, for example, when I found out about Ella, obviously the first thing you do is you panic. You're 21, you just turned into an adult, you panic. Panic aside, there were certain things I was told I had to go through experience-wise, which are things that I probably would never do now.
What do you mean you had to go
So when I first had, or when we found out about Ella Rose, the pastor of the church we were attending at the time made me stand in front of the congregation and explain what was happening. Yeah. I didn't
actually know the story, so this is actually quite interesting.
Yeah. It was, at the time, being a member of the church, I saw it as an obligation. Whereas now, I'm not sure I don't think it's something I would do.
So what was the reason behind it for you to just...
I think it was just more in the sense of, you've sinned in a way that's very visible, and so that there's not, word going around in regards to rumors and whatnot, just address it one time in front of the church and their members. Everyone knows what it is, and then just take it from there.
On the flip side, it kind of makes sense though, because it's like, I suppose having the conversation over and over and over again.
Yeah, just get it out there all at once. But I feel like
it's no one's business.
There's that, and then there's a certain element of shame that's attached to it. Okay. Which I disagree with fundamentally, because it just lets you feel like you've done something wrong, and it takes away the blessing of having a child. It makes you feel like throughout the whole procedure that you're guilty, which isn't a feeling that I liked at all. Hence the reason why I say the second one was worse, because when I was 24 and found out about Sienna, still kind of in the church, but so I think the trauma that I felt the first time around of having to go through that experience automatically came back. And then that's what hit me heavy. And then that's the first time I would say in my life that I experienced proper depression. Because I was just like, I don't know how I'm going to handle this. I had no idea. And I feel like growing up, we didn't really, like in school, in secondary school, primary school, we didn't really talk about things like anxiety, depression.
No, we didn't.
So when you're literally in a situation where you don't even understand what you're feeling, but you just know that you're not you, it's really difficult to navigate through it. So only looking back was I able to realize I was actually depressed through that episode. Like I was feeling anxiety, I was feeling fear, I was feeling all these different emotions, and I didn't know how to handle it. There's that element, there's the element of growing up in an African household, and the reception to you announcing the fact that you're...
So how did your family take it? So the first time, obviously, that must have been a bit of...
Yeah, there were tears.
Of course.
There were...
Yours or both?
No, I didn't cry.
Are you sure?
Yeah, not the first time round. Oh, second time. Second time, yeah. No, first time round, I didn't cry. Because I didn't know what to expect. So it was the unknown, but it was somewhat exciting at the same time, because I was just like, as much as I feel, or I've made to feel like this is the worst thing that could ever happen to me, I always knew from a young age that I loved children, and I wanted to settle down young and just kind of just like progress and build a family from there. So even though it wasn't the ideal scenario, in my head, I still found a way to be at peace with what was happening. Obviously, when the situation happens and it's in front of you and you're living it, it's different, because it's not like you pictured it in your head. It's hard.
Yeah, of course.
Your decision making completely changes. There's so many factors and things that are affected because of the fact you now have a child. Like your life just completely changes. Yeah. So then when that was multiplied by 2, I would say, funnily enough, the reception I got from family was a lot more, what's the word I'm looking for? A lot more welcoming, if I can use that, than the first time round. I think it's because I don't know if it's they understood where I was in that time. Even if I didn't understand that I was depressed, they were able to recognize that for me. Or the fact that they were just like, look, it's happened, let's get on with it. Let's deal with the situation. I'm not saying they accepted my
of course,
my decision and being like, open arms, but they were just like, let's just get on with it. So that definitely helped make the transition a lot easier.
Yeah, I feel like, because once you get less resistance, it helps.
100%.
It'll help you, more importantly.
100%.
Yeah. So that leads me on to my next question, actually. So having 2 kids, do you feel like has that held you back from doing anything? How's it? What sort of impact has it had on your life? Like, what could you have done?
It's so hard to say, because you don't know what direction your life would have gone in if you hadn't had done that.
But I feel like, it's because you did mention that you sort of have like an idea of what you want from your life. For example, like, I know that if I didn't have a child, I'd have more money.
100%.
100%. So you said little things like that. How do you feel like it's impacted you? Like, because having children, for me, I feel like it sort of gives your life some kind of purpose. But at the same time, it's like, it could be different.
Funnily enough, it's not something I think about often. I think because I had my children so young.
Of course,
I was a child. I was still a child. I hadn't even figured out what I want to do in my life. I don't even think I had established my own identity fully. So I would definitely say I had like this imposter syndrome where I felt like I had to act and behave like a father as opposed to being who I was. So I felt like I had to dress a certain way, behave a certain way, have a specific kind of job to go alongside the title of being a father, where in reality I could have and should have just been who I was and amended my life according to the situation. But I completely tried to create a new identity for myself, which didn't work.
You're here now?
I'm here now.
My next question for you is, so what's your relationship like with your daughter's mum? So obviously you've got 2 kids, the same mum.
I do.
So the way I look at it, it's like, for me, I've got one daughter with my daughter's mum. It's like, I don't get no trouble from her, but when it's 2 kids, it's a different dynamic. It's 2 sets of information. At one point in time, like, you're checking on 2 different people. You're paying for 2 separate people. Like, it's just, so what's it like?
I think we've been fortunate in the sense where we had 2 girls. So it took away some of the burden in the sense of they were able to mix and share in regards to certain things and like sharing the same bedroom and things like that. Things that aren't always possible if you have the mix of boy and girl. There's that element. And there's the element where fundamentally the girl's mother is a fantastic mother. I will never take that away from her. So she's really helped me to understand what the role is in being a father. So there's certain things, especially at that young age, where you just don't consider. So she'll be the one that would come with the books and be like, look, this is the information we need to know because we're about to have a child. And there are certain elements. So for example, we together came to the agreement that beating our daughters wasn't going to be a thing that we do.
Really?
Yeah. Nope. Don't do it. I feel like there's just other ways to communicate the message that you're trying to get across. Don't get me wrong. There's times where it's, especially being beaten, which it kind of feels instinctive to do, but I've always restrained just because she helped me understand that I never want my daughters to associate beating as a method of love.
Yeah.
So they feel like they're like, and I never, especially as a guy, I never want them to associate being hit with love.
I respect that.
So
I like it a lot. Wow.
Yeah. It's a lot to.
Yeah. No. I get it. The thing is, because I don't really beat my daughter, but it's like
sometimes it's, but I've never beat my girls, and I feel like I will never have to because of the fact that we found an alternative way to communicate. I mean, the other day, one of my friends asked me, where does the fear factor come in? Like, how do you know that they respect you? And not fear from a, like they're scared, but fear from that my father or my mom's gonna be upset if, like, they're fearful of what will happen if they do something wrong. And I'm just like, I've never beat my children, and they still know that if they step out of line, they'll be disciplined in a way that will fundamentally get the message across that I'm trying to get across. And I will communicate with them after the discipline to know that, look, this is the reason why I've done this. I love to explain things to my daughters so they know what's happening. And these are all things that I've learned from
those parents who talks them into crying.
Because I don't like talking. So I'll give my daughters a look and they will know what's happening. But what I'm saying is that a lot of the methods that I've adopted in regards to parenting have come because of the way that their mother parents them. So in that way, even though we're not together, there's a lot that we do in regards to working together so that our daughters, even though they know we don't live together, they feel like we're still a partnership in regards to raising them. So I do have quite a good relationship. Don't get me wrong, there are times where there's going to be problems. Like, as always, we have arguments, we disagree, but fundamentally we always agreed that in front of our daughters we'd be best friends, and we've tried to stick to that to the best of our ability.
Yeah, that's good. That's amazing stuff. And you've got 2 daughters, so I know you mentioned earlier on that you want to have another child at some point. So
I do.
Another girl?
Definitely not. No, I don't know. I do love girls. I do love girls, but I feel like there's a relationship that a father has with his son that is just as special, nice, and that's something that I would love to experience. So somewhere down the line, God willing.
Sort of time frame?
Let's not do that. Let's not do that. Just because I don't know what the world's going to throw at me. I don't know what the future looks like.
Okay, as we're winding down this conversation, I feel like my next question for you is, what would you do differently with regards to that?
Do differently.
Like, if you could go back in time, live it all again, have 2 daughters again at the same ages, what would you change?
The only thing I would change is the time I had the children.
What do you mean?
I feel like I just needed to know who I was a bit more before having children. At the same time, I'm not upset because my daughters have helped shape me and find my identity. But at the same time, it would have been good to know exactly who I was when I'm bringing another person into the world. Or people into the world, I should say. So definitely just postponing it from an age perspective. I mean, the gap that my daughters have in regards to age, for me, is perfect. It's about 2.5, 3 years. So age-wise, it's a good age gap. And my daughters get along like best friends. So again, that makes the parenting process a lot easier for me. But I'll definitely change the age I had my girls.
And my final question for you is, what advice would you give to expecting fathers? So, expecting the first child, expecting the second child, what kind of advice would you give them?
Advice? Be inquisitive, because it's a long process, and there are people that have experienced this, and they will not always, but there's so many hints and tips out there. There's so many different opinions and views. Just be mindful and make sure you've got a full open view of parenting from numerous perspectives. Be open-minded. Parenting's not easy. There's no manual, but the more open-minded you are, and the more you address things in the mind frame of, regardless of what happens, I need my children to understand that I love them. Even if I'm upset with them, even if I'm livid, regardless, they need to know that the underlying factor is I love them. Then, you'll be good.
Cool. Thank you so much for appearing.
No problem at all, man.
First episode. It's good to have you, man. So
it's been good.
Where do you find your social media, man? Where do you find your company, more importantly? Because I know you make cocktails.
So there's a cocktail company called Drink a Mix, which is on majority of social media platforms. So it's Instagram, Twitter, and it's just a mobile cocktail service company. So we'll go out to events, tailor themed baby showers, weddings, anything of the sort to kind of just make your event that much more special.
Yeah.
So that's on all social media platforms.
What's it called?
So Drink a Mix. So the word drink, a and a mix.
Okay.
On all platforms, like I said.
So
personally,
you pretty boy?
it's FJ_Banks on Instagram. That's lost. I have 2 children, remember, please. Instagram and Twitter. So yeah.
Cool. Thanks again. Well, sorry.
Yeah.
First episode of Figuring Out Fatherhood, wrap up.
Thank you very much.
That's it. Well done, let's signing out. How long was that?
How'd that look from your guys' perspective?